Nikki Woodward, the state director of Miss Rodeo Texas. And then also Brianna Santos, the current Miss Rodeo Texas. Also want to mention Alana Hickok, the pageant director. Thanks to the Tri-State Exposition for being here, Brady Ragland and Lauren Fitzler. I also want to call out our Visit Amarillo board members, past chair Angela Knapp-Eggers, our current chair Coco Duckworth, and then of course the Visit Amarillo staff. Especially I want to call out Stephanie Andrews and Amy Tarr. They were really instrumental in bringing this event to Amarillo. So with that, I don't want to take too much time on introductions. I want to go ahead and bring up Nikki to make the big announcement.
Hello everyone, I am excited to be here and share the news that the Miss Rodeo Texas Pageant is moving to Amarillo for our big pageant event for the next 3 years. Our pageant dates will be June 16th through 20th for the year 2026, and we are hard at work planning all the details and are excited to share those all with y'all as soon as we get that finalized. We are excited to move to Amarillo because a huge part of the mission statement of Miss Rodeo Texas is preserving and promoting our Western heritage. And Texas is full of that, but I think Amarillo exudes that, exemplifies it, and it has been incredible the amount of hospitality every single person has shown us while we have been here visiting, especially from all the different rodeos that Miss Rodeo Texas gets to attend here, from the Tri-State Fair and Rodeo to the Coors Ranch Rodeo, and for how they have treated our girl here. And we are excited for the future of what Miss Rodeo Texas and Amarillo will get to do together for our pageant events. And we're just so excited. We even had a press conference. So we are excited for that. And I'm just looking forward to it. So.
I think we share the excitement. So Visit Amarillo, this is kind of what we do. We go after business to bring it to town. But this is especially exciting for us. We know that Western heritage is what people look for when they're visiting in Amarillo. It is something that we really enjoy being a part of and digging into and partnering with the different rodeos and different events that lean into our heritage here. And we've just really had so much fun going through this process. It has been a whirlwind. This has been a fast decision based compared to a lot of the business that we start conversations around. But this is a perfect example of how Amarillo, as we grow, we still are keeping that small town feel along with those Western heritage type relationships. This conference came about not just through our office, but through many conversations between Miss Rodeo Texas, the organization, the Coors Ranch Rodeo, phone calls directly to myself and other people in town, and all happened within just a couple of weeks, and then we had them boots on the ground here in Amarillo. And we think that they are a perfect fit for the types of partnerships and relationships that we have here in town. And as we're really focusing on growing our rodeo events, I think that it's a good brag point for us to be able to say that we host Miss Rodeo Texas. And we're going to roll out the red carpet, and we're going to show them a good time the whole time that we're here, and hopefully create some long-lasting relationships so that we can continue to host them, and even if we don't get to host them after 3 years, get them back in the future, but also just build those relationships and utilize their skills to help us grow our events. So we appreciate being chosen and think that it's a perfect fit, and we will be bragging about it all 3 years that we have them here with us, and hope for many more years after that as well. So thank you all for coming today.
Thank you so much. And finally, I want to bring up Brianna Santos, Miss Rodeo Texas, to speak a little bit from the contestant perspective on coming to Amarillo.
Excitement is just radiating throughout the room today, and it's been a hard secret to keep that we're moving the Miss Rodeo Texas pageant here to Amarillo, Texas. Miss Rodeo Texas is a youthful goodwill ambassador for the sport of professional rodeo, the agricultural industry, and the Western way of life. which are all things that Amarillo embodies. So it's a great move. The contestants that compete for Miss Rodeo Texas spend years and months preparing for this competition for the coveted title of Miss Rodeo Texas. We go through a series of interviews, get tested on our knowledge, compete in horsemanship, get judged on our appearance and our personality. So we're excited for the next girl who will undertake this role, being crowned here in Amarillo. There's so much to offer here in town, including the home of the American Quarter Horse Association here. So as we are horsewomen, it'll be a great experience to drive throughout the town and see all of the horse statues as a reminder that we are ambassadors for the Western heritage. So we are so excited and looking forward to stepping into the real Texas here in Amarillo. We'll see you in June. The pageant will be open to the public, and we encourage you to come out and experience what the Miss Rodeo Texas pageant is like here next June in 2026. Thank you.
Alrighty, so again, so excited to having this Rodeo Texas pageant here in Amarillo. I'll go ahead and open it up for questions if anybody has any right now. If not, you can also grab people on the side for private interviews as well.
How long did this process kind of take for whoever?
I'll let Cassius speak on that.
Well, and Nikki may have a little more insight to it, but from the time that our office was brought in, I would say this happened, I believe, the last week of May, when we started having some serious conversations about bidding for this and making that move. So, yeah, pretty quick turnaround, especially considering most of our booked convention business, which this falls under that, can take 2 to 3 years to get board decisions to roll through and contracts signed. So it's moved fast, but I think that that's just a good example of the fact that they belong here.
It's meant to be.
Yes, exactly.
Where was it hosted before? I mean, we're at 1400 homes.
So previously, Miss Rodeo Texas has been hosted in San Antonio, Texas for 30 plus years. Before that, it was in Stephenville, Texas. And last year was the first year Miss Rodeo Texas pageant moved out of San Antonio, and it was in Denton for the first year there. And then now it was the Miss Rodeo Texas board who wanted to establish a rotating pageant because Texas is one of the largest states out there, and we have some phenomenal cities to be able to rotate and share what Miss Rodeo Texas is with our entire state. And whenever we were looking for our next home, it just, like I said, fell into place to be perfect fit for Amarillo to be our next stop.
Kind of tell me how it works. Is it a separate event? Is it a pageant? How does it work?
Yes, so it is structured very similar to the national pageants you see that have been televised. However, the girls' talents per se is riding a horse. Now, the trick to it is it's not their own personal horse. It is a random draw horse that is provided for them in which they have to ride and execute certain maneuvers throughout a pageant. And so they are judged on their abilities to ride the horse and execute those maneuvers. They are also asked to give an extemporaneous speech, so they are given some topics to select from, a few minutes to prepare, go out there and speak because, you know, doing press conference like this, they often happen last minute. They go through an interview process in which they are asked questions over rodeo, their Western heritage, and how they would promote it throughout their reign. Fun personality questions to see if, you know, they can joke around with us and have fun. And they also answer on-stage questions so that they are prepared for situations like this. And it is a standalone event, so she's not necessarily tied to any specific rodeo. It's professional rodeo associations all around in which she represents. So it's just the rodeo organizations itself that they do. They do a fun fashion show, which we're excited to have up here. And that'll be one of our public events to get to do, as well as our coronation event in which we will crown the new title holders. And I say title holders because we actually have 3 different divisions. We have our Miss division, which is from the ages of 21 to 26, our teen division from 14 to 19, and then we also have a princess division, which are ages 9 to 13. And of course, different levels have different expectations assigned to them. So we'll have a whole herd of rodeo queens that are blinged out here in June.
So if somebody's interested in being in how do you
Yes, so if you are interested in being a contestant, information up there, as well as contact information to be able to reach out, because I know there's a lot of questions about getting into it because the wardrobe requirements, it is a traditional Western attire from the cowboy hat and boots and the clothing in between is on there. We have that on our website. We also do a Miss Rodeo Texas clinic, which is usually in the January fall time. We're working on getting that confirmed. I don't know if it'll be here in Amarillo, because like I said, it was a lot of work to get the pageant done. But we have that to offer the experience for the girls who are beginning to have done a couple rodeo queen pageants or just want to learn about that. We answer a lot of their questions one-on-one and let them have some experience to do that.
And just one more, do you guys have like a board of judges? Are they selected locally, or are they what, you know?
So yes, it's really from anywhere. We have a certain criteria in which we look for what their knowledge is that they can bring to the table to judge for the girls, from whether it's a former rodeo queen, if they're in the horse industry, so like AQHA, pulling from there. We don't have a set one. We just have criteria in which we seek out those individuals to be qualified to be able to judge the girls of what we're asking for them to do. But yeah, those change every year, so they're not the same judges every year. We get a great group of judges. I think they did a good job this year too. We have a wonderful Miss Rodeo Texas with Brianna, and I think we'll have a great successful group of judges in pageant this next year.
So y'all moved from San Antonio after 30 years, and you did it in Denton for 1 year.
Yes.
What is the thought process that happens when you're trying to select another location? Like, what were some of the things that appealed? You talked a little bit what appealed about Amarillo, but what were some of the consideration factors, and how many cities were competing for this, if you can say?
Yes, so that's a great one. I should have said this earlier, because one of the great contributing factors, aside from the rich history of Western heritage and the Western lifestyle here in Amarillo, is also the facilities too. Because we are a little bit different. We do need an arena, and we typically require at minimum a covered arena, because you know, summer times in Texas, you get all kinds of weather. And here, Amarillo had top-notch facilities with the Amarillo National Center, and it being a completely enclosed building, which I'm excited about, because you know, with the queen hair and the looks, like, it's going to be on point there. We're going to be out of the weather conditions. And then, of course, just the options that we had here that they helped us set up and look, and it just fell into place with where we're able to have the facilities for our fashion show, the individual interviews, and you know, even like the little things as to like their changing rooms of where they can be able to get ready and properly ready to go, and of course accommodating quite a few girls. So that was a big part of it, went into it. There was a lot of different cities. We looked all over the state trying to do it, and then, like I said, it came about a little last minute, and it just worked out perfectly to be able to come to Amarillo, which is, I just felt meant to be.
And y'all made a 1-year commitment in Denton, but we're getting a 3-year commitment. Can you talk about the reason behind that?
Yes, and so it's a great positive for Denton and the DFW area, but it was a huge negative for us, is the FIFA World Cup is coming to the DFW area this next year, and so it just created extreme logisticals for us to be there during that time, and so that's why we committed to 3 years here, because that's what originally what we wanted to do, was do a 3 years, because the first year you get everything set up, you get it figured out, the second year you have it down, and then the third year, you know, you're really hitting it out of the park for sure, but we're aiming to do that on the first year, and so that's why that hiccup, I say, come about. But like I said, it's a great positive for the state of Texas to be able to host that large, phenomenal event.
What are you most looking forward to in this new collaboration with Amarillo?
I am so excited to get to work with these ladies here. It's phenomenal to have, I guess you could say, you know, boots on the ground to be able to help us. And I mean, of course, they're learning with us as far as what our event entails and requires. But immediately, I called and had a question. Within 5 minutes, they had a solution back to us, and to giving us options and helping us get it set up. And really and truly, just the amazing support that comes from the Amarillo community. I am so excited about and looking forward to being able to work with everyone, and especially even the spectators getting to come and watch.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a little bit about the economic impact and how many people you guys are kind of expecting to come through when the pageant's in town?
Yes, so I wish I had some really good hard numbers, but my goal every year is to at least have a minimum of 10 contestants in each division. So that's 30 contestants who bring in family members, at least 2 parents. They often have siblings with them. Rihanna's family was nice and large, so she had a huge cheering section. And so it's from all areas of Texas, as well as we offer opportunities for out-of-state title holders to be able to come and watch on there. And so, like I said, I'm expecting and hoping to have quite a few out-of-state visitors as well come in there, and it's exciting to have this team to really help promote it and to bring in a lot more visitors in there as well.
How many days are y'all here?
Well, it depends. The girls are here
Yeah.
a few more days, but I'm pretty much here for an entire week, but has it 5 days of competition in which the girls will be moving in. So essentially that week will be a full influx of Miss Rodeo Texas participants, spectators, and fans coming in.
I just want to get on tape.
Yes.
Give me your name again.
Okay, yes, I'm Nikki Woodward. I'm the state director for Miss Rodeo Texas.
N-I-K-K.
N-I-K-K-I, and then Woodward, W-O-O-D-W-A-R-D.
Just kind of a general question, but how much are tickets to this event?
So we are working on that just as far as like getting our schedule set up, and it would depend on our ticket price range there. So our fashion show typically includes a meal with it on there, so that influxes on the price of the ticket there as well. But we're gonna have that very soon. We are
No
working
worries,
on the
no
details
worries.
on there, and we'll hope to have that on our website very soon to be able to answer that question.
Cool. Can we hear from?
Yes, of course. Yeah, come on up here, Rihanna.
Okay, here we go. And I want to ask you the same thing. Same spell your names. We will get it wrong if you don't.
We do have folders for you guys too.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
My name is Rihanna Santos. I am Miss Rodeo Texas 2025. It's REANNASANTOS.
Where are you from?
I'm from South Houston in a small town called Angleton. I grew up on my family's ranch there. We have our herd of horses and our own hay farm that we produce hay for ourselves and the community. So I was very blessed to have grown up in the agricultural industry and with horses quite literally in my backyard. So it makes my role as Miss Rodeo Texas fun because it's a lifestyle that I have lived and that I plan to continue to live, and being able to share that with others and plant the seed with them with the rich Western heritage that we have, invite them to the rodeo, including the Tri-State Fair and Rodeo, which is going on this weekend, which is what we're here for. So it's a great opportunity for these young girls that come from all across the state of Texas. We're one of the largest states, so we have a good number of Rodeo Queen contestants, and they'll be here in Amarillo next year competing for Miss Rodeo Texas.
So what's it like being Miss Rodeo Texas? From when you win the pageant to now, what are your duties? What do you do? And I guess you travel a lot. I guess you represent. Walk me through an average. I would say average. A year of being Miss Rodeo Texas.
Yes, sir. It's such an honor to be Miss Rodeo Texas, and it's one big adventure. Our day-to-day looks different, and it's different for each queen. So I was crowned in June in Denton, Texas, and it's been a whirlwind since then. Very little downtime, so I get to be home maybe once a week, always on the road, traveling, promoting the sport, promoting the industry, attending various rodeos across the state, attending civic functions. Just where you think a rodeo queen would be, I'm there, and where you think a rodeo queen wouldn't be, like in the community volunteering, I'm there as well. So just reaching new audiences is the main goal. But for me, I've been preparing for the Miss Rodeo America pageant, which is held in December in conjunction with the National Finals Rodeo. So that is the Super Bowl of rodeos. It's in Las Vegas. Cowboys and cowgirls compete year-round to make it to the NFR, and it's such an honor to be able to represent the great state of Texas on the big stage in Las Vegas. So that'll happen in December, and no matter how the contest goes, I'll be able to continue my reign either as Miss Rodeo America or Miss Rodeo Texas through June, representing rodeo and traveling. So lots of miles on the road. I get to meet a lot of cool people, and just it's the experience of a lifetime. So if anyone's interested in running for Miss Rodeo Texas, one of our divisions, the Miss, the Teen, or the Princess, I highly recommend it.
Have you ever been to Texas Panhandle and Amarillo?
A few times, yes, sir. So I would always fly to Amarillo and drive to Canyon for competitions in the Interscholastic Equestrian Association held at West Texas A&M University. But I haven't spent too much time in Amarillo yet. I'm here this weekend, so I and explore. And I'm going to tell all of my family and friends to come to our pageant in June to explore Amarillo because it has a lot to offer, and especially it's so rich in Western heritage. It's home to the American Quarter Horse Association, and what horse girl doesn't like a horse museum?
Did you compete in previous, like the Princess? Did you compete in some of those events beforehand?
No, I was a bit of a late bloomer when it comes to rodeo queens. I was a college athlete at Texas A&M University, so that took up most of my time. But once my eligibility expired, being a rodeo queen was something that I always dreamed of, and I knew I needed to give it a shot because it was something that I would have regretted otherwise. So I competed for a previous title that I took to the Miss Rodeo Texas Pageant, Miss Rodeo North Texas Fair, and it worked out for me. It was a year long of preparation. Not only was I preparing and studying for Miss Rodeo Texas, but I was also in the process of finishing and defending my thesis for my master's program. So these girls work year-round to study and compete, and normally they bring a rodeo queen title to the pageant that they represent or a sponsor represents them.
And talk about for people that may not have ever competed, like the young ladies that at some point may want to compete. What have you learned from this process, and what have you what have you taken from this?
The biggest thing, coming from a competitive background, I'm very competitive, is at the end of the day, yes, we're competing against all of these other talented girls, but really you're just competing against the best version of yourself. So really having a positive mindset through it. The skills that we learn competing for these rodeo queen titles are so transferable into our careers when we pass down the sash and crown. Our communication skills, our networking skills, and all the other things that we learn throughout the week. How to handle a busy schedule when things just get thrown on your plate that you didn't know that were going to be there. So being able to adapt on the fly are all part of being a rodeo queen, but it's all part of it's something that you can use in your career down the road. So I highly recommend it.
All right. Okay, so with that, these ladies will stick around for a little bit longer if you want to grab them and do just personal interviews. There are packets on the back table for everyone to grab that have the official press release, everyone's contact information, full names, titles. So thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you.
Thank you.